Hey guys, welcome to the Cow Emporium. It's been a while since we've done a garden update here, so let's take you out and see what's happening. First, we're bringing out the drying rack. It's a different drying rack, so why are we doing that? I think the garden is just absolutely in its prime right now, and you might think the only thing we're growing here is dill. Look at all that dill. Dill is a good companion plant. It helps keep away some pests or attracts certain pests so that then predatory or bugs can come and eat those. So we got a few things to do today in the garden. This is where our first row of peas was. Glen just snipped off the peas and left the roots in the ground. So we're going to plant the lettuce in here. We got some succession lettuce here. And I'm going to pick the peas for the garden box customers this week. And we're probably going to open this first cabbage tunnel again. I'm a little scared to open the second one. You see it down there? There are things growing out of it. Terrifying. Here we are at the onion row. Don't mind the weeds. It rained here recently and they just grow like crazy after a rain. So let's talk onions. You'll see this onion here, the top has been tipped over for whatever reason. Once the top is tipped over on your onions like that, there's no longer growth on the bulb, so the bulb starts to mature. And if you leave those guys in the ground, then they'll start rotting. So I'm going to go through the onion bed. Look at some of these onions are just gorgeous. Check that one out. There's a bunch like that. That one also has a very wide neck on it. Not great for storing. That wide neck causes problems. When storing your onions, you want to really look for the ones that have a smaller, slimmer neck on them. And there's some in there. But you'll see all these onions that are tipped over. So that's why we got the drying rack out. I'm going to dry these onions. It is early for me to think about storing onions. But like I said, if we don't get these onions out of here, then they'll just rot in the ground. So, yeah, got some work to do there. While I was picking the peas, I picked some of these bigger guys last night. And so I've made the executive decision to leave the peas on the vine to ripen. And then we'll harvest the seed because those big guys are getting bitter. Oh, there's a bee. It's nice to see a bee. We haven't seen a lot of bees since the early springtime. So we're going to let these ripen on the vine. Once they're completely dried out, we'll harvest them and save them for seed for next year. That's looking super great. That is awesome. Unlike the garlic, I leave the tops on the onions because they're hollow and they dry out fairly quickly. So I just push the tops through here. I don't take anything off the onion. I just leave it there. It's rained, so like this is muddy. So I'm just gonna leave that. I did notice one that has white rot starting on it, so I'm going to show that to you when I find it. When it happens to be right here. So part of my dirty fingers, but you know, I'm playing in the dirt. This, where it's starting to rot around the root, is white rot in the onions. And left unchecked, that'll take care of all of your onions. The reason why I cut the garlic top is because it's a solid top. It takes a long time for it to dry out. And the reason why I don't cut the onions is because they're hollow inside. And when you cut them, they'll start to regrow from the top. And so that's not great. That's taking all the energy out of the onion bulb itself. Whereas the garlic, they don't do that. They don't regrow. Well, it looks like whatever ate that one had a cabbage. It's just making its way down the tunnel. So that beautiful cabbage is toast. But here's a nice one, and here's a nice one. They're really tiny, but I'm gonna get them the heck out of here. I don't know what this is. It was supposed to be a type of cabbage, and maybe it is, but I just don't even recognize it. Isn't that crazy? Wow, something really knew what it was doing, eh? Didn't even touch the outside leaves. Just ate that entire head, just down a little bit at a time. Crazy. Well, okay, after my disappointment opening the cabbage tunnels, I'm gonna open up this little one here and see what's going on. There isn't a lot of room in there for these things to grow, but they're supposed to be mini cabbages, so let's see. Well, at first glance, it doesn't look great. Something's been eating in there, clearly. So even though I did my best to cover it with nothing inside, obviously something's gotten inside, so. All right, well, let's see if anything is salvageable. I was just thinking, like, why do bugs have to be so rude? Why couldn't they just eat one plant? Instead, they gotta like nibble on every single plant. And I'll show you. Like I don't even know. I'm sure it's a worm, caterpillar, or something or other. But like, there's poop. There's poop in there. So it's all over in there. Like this one was close to being a nice cabbage. Super close. And then they destroyed it. Little destroyers. But see this poop in there? I think those are poops and not eggs. The corn that Glen planted from seed indoors is looking really good. It's super tall. The cobs are just starting to form on it. I think it's a super sweet variety of corn. We just didn't buy any special seed. We just bought sweet corn seed from the store. And I'll show you the other corn that I had saved seed from Glen's mom and dad's garden and planted, and we'll see what it's doing. The beans are just flowering so nicely. The plants look beautiful and healthy. The kabocha squash vine has spread a smidgen from where it is over there. All the squash has really spread this year. So the corn is not as tall as the stuff that Glen started inside, but he thought that some of the cobs were maturing faster on this corn. So we'll see how that goes. The cucumbers are finally coming. This was my second planting. These are pickling cucumbers, and that's good because we're all out of dill pickles. Crazy. The sweet potatoes are a smidgen weedy, but they're really coming. I can't wait to see what's going on when those tops start to die back. I am going to eat some of the tops because they're edible, because I've never done that. I'm going to try that. Zucchinis and the scallopinis, the patty pans are all doing so well. Some of our tomatoes aren't very happy this year. So these tomatoes along the fence in particular aren't super happy. Lots of curled up leaves, and they've been having regular waterings. Glen's fertilized them. I'm thinking about trying some Epsom salts on them. But it is also the second year we've planted tomatoes in the spot on this fence. So for next season, we're going to move this fence over to a different quarter of the garden. This is some baby celery that maybe I'll actually get the covers on this time so I can grow wider looking celery stalks. Because my celery is so delicious, but not everybody likes it quite that flavorful. I did some hard pruning in the greenhouse so that the peppers could get some light. When I left, these were covered with blooms, these peppers, and they just needed some sunshine. So I got this cayenne pepper here. It's got tons of peppers on it. Do you suppose that one there is still good to use? It's all dried up. Today's the day that our sunflowers are going to open up. That's just awesome. Ours are so late. Look at all these sunflower faces waiting to open. Oh my goodness. These are the sunflower seeds that we're going to harvest to make the microgreens with. Sunflower shoots, tiny, are so delicious. They kind of taste like nuts. I can't wait to see this fully open. Glen's about to seed some more dill because, you know, we don't have enough dill in the garden. Actually, it's nice just to keep planting dill. Though we're going to have to be a little bit more careful about getting the dill out of the garden before it goes to seed. So I have a question for you, Glen. Yeah. What is your favorite thing in the garden right now? What's your favorite plant? What are you the happiest with? Dill. You're happiest with the dill. I like dill.
And I like the cilantro.
I was hoping you wouldn't mention the cilantro. You guys, it makes me like I'm standing beside it. It's just right here, and it makes me feel sick. Okay, so now you get to ask me the question.
What's your favorite stuff in the garden?
My favorite plants in the garden right now are the summer squash and the winter squash. Nice. The winter squash is just starting to make its fruits, but the summer squash is going great guns. So that might change the next time you ask me, but right now my favorite is the squashes. The dill takes a long time to start. That's going to be so yummy though. Later in August. Oh, there's a bee. Busy in the tomato jungle. The onions coming out this year are kind of trickle. So it was about 4 days ago I pulled the first tipped over onions out, and so I'm just walking through. I'm not going to pull them until they're starting to tip. So like this one here is tipped over. So okay. Because they'll still grow. Some of these onions don't need to grow anymore, but I'm also going to pull out anything that's gone to seed. So I'll show you what that looks like. This one down here on the end, well, the two end ones have gone to seed. That's a really firm, thick stalk. It doesn't have a flowering thing on the tip of it yet, or I might have pinched it off earlier in the season by the looks of it. So those guys, I can use them, but they're certainly not something you want to store, because this is just rock hard. Shouldn't be like that. A straw, there you go. You want an onion straw for your drink, Glen?
Yeah, it works better than the paper ones.
Works better than the paper ones. Yeah, I don't know about in the States, but here in Canada, when you go through the drive-thru anymore, they don't give you a plastic straw. They're all paper. Yeah. Maybe you might want to have tomato juice with it. We don't drink that much tomato juice, so. Anyway, just being silly. Well, there it is. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.